Hello, everyone, and welcome to TFYLP, Transformers for Your Listening Pleasure, episode number 266. I am your host, Ron Land, a.k.a. Weird Wolf. Along with me this evening is Sergio.
Good evening.
He's the man in black tonight.
Yeah. They're keeping me in the dark.
Jim Black.
Hi, guys. Sorry to inform you, but due to some recent budget cuts, tonight's show will consist of only one Jim, one cup.
Oh.
I don't think they want to see that.
Oh, God, that was just awful.
Amateur.
Now that we're sitting here having to watch Jim play with his cup, you know.
I could also play with my hot rod.
Yeah. I can be watching I could be watching Justice League action right now. I could be doing.
And that lovely voice that you just heard is also Headmaster Don, who is waving and taunting a Super NES Classic Edition up. You know, it's like he's too good to go get an emulator and just actually play games that way.
Duran, you've seen my technical ability. Do you think I could even understand how to do an emulator? It's much easier for me to buy that and plug and play. Or I can play with this if I want to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know Orson's got parts A and B in already. Yeah. And I'm like, I have no money right now.
Yeah, because I can play with this too.
Wah, 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 wah. Sad trombone.
Or this.
Well, I opened that last week. I have the Japanese one though. Mine came with the gold shield for Prime. I was like, why is this in here?
Well, anyway, I want to apologize for the very, very late start tonight. I've got everything set up on time, and whenever I clicked to begin the stream from my computer to YouTube, basically my computer just was going like, nope, not going to do it. Screw it, not going to do it. You know, and long story short, I had to wound up bypassing my router that I got last week, and I'm jacked directly into the modem right now. So there is like nothing between my computer and my modem right now, and I feel kind of naked, you know. So
it's going commando?
Yeah, it's going commando. We are without underwear tonight. You don't want me to pan my camera down right now. It would be very bad. You might actually see my big pot belly here, you know. So, but anyway, thanks everybody who is in the live chat right now and has been waiting for the show to begin. I appreciate each and every one of you. And your patience with us tonight. But here we are, and we are live. I want to tell everybody that we are sponsored by CapturePrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service, where you can save even more with orders of $150 or more with free domestic shipping and discounted shipping on international orders of $150 more. CapturePrey.com. Great toys, great prices, great service. As well as Mega Toy Fan, you can maximize your collection while minimizing your cost with Mega Toy Fan. And you can find Mega Toy Fan on Facebook. Search out Megamus or Mega Toy Fan, and you will find either one because they're one and the same. And you can also find Mega Toy Fan at all the popular robot and toy conventions year-round, such as TFCon. Great parts parties and everything. If you need a rifle or something other, he's probably got it. And search out Mega Toy Fan. Also on Ripped Apparel, if you use the promo code TFYLP-Pod, you can save 10% on your order at rippedapparel.com. And also, if you love what we do here on TFYP and love to keep us going each and every month, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/TFYLP. So, now that all that is out of the way, guys, we are talking about listener questions tonight. There's been a few that's been posted since yesterday whenever I posed the question. And everybody that's in the the live chat. Feel free to ask questions as the show goes along and comment. And tonight the floor is yours. We're going to be discussing things and topics that you guys throw at us, and see what we can find to talk about that is on the listeners' minds. If you are watching us live, you can do it on the live chat. You can tweet us at TFYLP on Twitter, or you can post it on our Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/TFYLP. We are monitoring each and every one of those, and you might get mentioned here on air, maybe, just maybe. So, Don, you haven't opened any of those things yet, right?
No, I've been really busy at work and just have not had time to tear them open. I did open, however. I had a run of luck on eBay with some sales a couple of months ago, and I bought a couple of things. I did get X-Transbox Klaatu that I opened.
Oh,
love Klaatu, love him. I've got the Toy World Clear version, but it's more for that it's clear than because I love the way they look in the light. But I think the X-Transbox is a better Cosmos, in my opinion. It's a little bit simpler, a little bit more streamlined, really nice. Sorry.
Are we boring you, Don?
No, it's just it's my work schedule.
It's called work, yeah.
Yeah, it's called work. I really haven't had a chance to open a lot of the stuff I even got. I mean, I opened up Overlord that I got at TFCon. I opened up Shatterglass Rodimus I got at TFCon. Probably going to be selling Coulter. I think if I'm going to get this mold, I'm going to get it as Thunderclash, because that Thunderclash that they showed off looks really, really nice. I will probably
is that the red and orange
be selling.
I might be interested.
Yeah, I'm going to sell that one probably. I got the two Machine Robos. I got the Leader 1, and I got the Blockhead version. I did see the reviews, or at least some early reviews of the Shuttle and the Blaster, Spacian Blaster. That looked really good. I did rebuy a second Cybertron.
Lord have mercy. I haven't even seen one yet.
Well, it's all based on Dynanomics. I did have two, and I took one back because I said I don't need to. I need to be more responsible with TFCon coming up. So I took it back. And then Toys R Us was running a sale at $109 online. The store matched it. I got 10% off with the coupon code. Plus, I had $20 in reward points, so I got it for like $60. So yeah, I got my second one back. So I got one in the box and one to open because it's G2 Primus. I mean, really.
Well, it's also meant to look and from what I understand, the colors of the Unicron, or I'm sorry, the Primus. Is meant to look like the animated Cybertron from G1. You know, where where Cybertron was mainly bluish in tint, and then there was like those the deep chasms that were orange. That's why this the colors on Cybertron Primus.
If they want to call it that, that's fine. I'm calling it G2 Primus because that's what it looks like.
First question tonight, Dawn. Will Klaatu recolors be named Barada and Nikto?
I'm not. Probably so. I mean, that would make the most sense. It's just I'm not sure what other Cosmos colors, unless you did one colored as Pathfinder.
Pathfinder, yeah.
From GoBots, that's pretty obvious. And maybe if you did a Shattered Glass version, which was a coloring version, that he was maybe red with green highlights or yellow with green highlights. You know, maybe a coloring version there.
I'd like to see like a traditional UFO,
like in the gray,
like a silverish.
Yeah, like a silver metallic.
Cool. Because that would make, because Klaatu comes with a stand that looks like he's abducting something, and in that silver classic 50s flying saucer colors, that would be kind of interesting display piece to have him abducting a plastic cow.
Yeah.
Well, what would
he's named after Klaatu, which was the robot from that one movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Yeah.
So it'd be perfect.
Well, what they should have done is include a little pistol that looks like a anal probe.
Well, it's the next trio they're going to do of robots is Azarath, Metreon, Zenthos, from what I understand. So there's that.
Mm. Well, I don't know if you guys have saw my little video that I aired or put up on the Facebook group this past week, but I was messing around with Zeta Toys Whirlblade, which is their Vortex. And if you're watching on the YouTube video right now, I've got it in helicopter mode right now, and he is very clean. And
they're huge. I saw them at TFCon, and that's like, I knew they would be big, but not that big.
Each one of the limbs are easily leader class size. So that means that the combined form of this Bruticus is going to be gigantic, and
he will be bigger than Morbitron.
Yeah.
And not only that, but also the mere fact that these Zeta guys are like $50, $50 to $60, depending on where you get them. I'm like, I can't.
Are they getting restocked? Because they're like out everywhere.
I know. I know Orson at Capture Prey. He's trying to get more stock, but like I said, if you don't pre-order it, it's pretty much gone by the time they come in. So, but yeah, I'm glad I jumped on these guys. I've got the Blast Off and the Vortex. Brawl.
If I miss out, I won't be too sad because I'm probably gonna get the Ocular Max one because they're my favorite third-party company. But the cool thing about the Zeta Toys is just how big they are.
Yeah.
Now this just came across Twitter a little while ago. It's just as a new item. Iron Factory, who do the really great smaller war in the pocket kind of scale. They're doing their own set of DJD figures,
and they look really detailed for the size.
And they combine.
Wow.
They have a Gestalt mode, and I don't have any connection to the DJD, but that's a good looking, just in general, that's a good looking combiner in this gray resin prototype kind of thing. So if you're a fan of the comic and don't mind the smaller scale, this looks like this could be really. And Iron Factory does some pretty good work. I've only got one or two of their pieces, but what I've got I like.
Yeah.
So I thought that I'd just bring that up as being something new.
Let's see here. Jim, anything new that has really stood out to you lately that you might have picked up besides playing with your cup?
Well, I just cannot put this Titans Return Cup down. It's just blowing me away. It's so radically different of a departure from the classic G1 Cup transformation. But it works in both modes. I love it. Aside from that, though, I've been refocusing a little bit on my main portion of my collection, which is reacquiring many of the figures that I had as a child, and then any updated versions of those characters. Most recently, I have reacquired Generation 1 Axer. I'm just missing just the seat for the motorcycle. And then just last week, I got in the Revenge of the Fallen, Hunt for the Decepticons mold Axor. And I've got it displayed next to it. I don't know if you can see really too well. Here, hang on. Put my window open. There we go. Now I know what I'm looking at. In my entertainment center here, behind that glass door are the Generation 1 versions of my various characters, and the one next to it are all the updated versions. And I'm almost out of room already in it.
I know what running out of room means.
But I have something sad to report, though. My Computron, my G1 Computron, I have in the one case, and then next to it, I had managed to fit in the Combiner Wars version, the box set. Fully combined, had what's his name? The Flying Saucer.
Scrounge.
Yeah, not Cosmos. Had all them attached, and I was just messing with them the other day. Nose cone separates by his feet, which causes the whole thing to go off balance and topple over sideways. So now there's this big long split that goes along the center of Afterburner's windshield.
Oh.
I am broken hearted. I mean, it still looks okay, but like if you look at it in the light, you can see the crack just going all the way down.
Well, luckily you know someone like Mega Toy Fan, who can probably help you get a replacement.
I'm sure you probably could, but I'm broke.
So is your Afterburner. But
any donations, any of you out in internet land that might have a Combiner Wars Afterburner you don't maybe want anymore?
I was thinking it was G1. I'm sorry.
I was starting to say it might be better just to go buy a new one, but then you'd have to buy the whole box set. That's what sucks.
And I'm limited on funds and space. And I still plan on getting the Unite Warriors version in addition to Combiner Wars, simply because they're separate molds. So that was a plan anyway, windshield or no.
A couple other questions
I'll probably just live with it.
Come in. Carrie asks, have any of you guys been able to find any of the new Last Night toys beyond the first wave in your local retail stores? Me personally, all I have seen beyond Wave 1 is Hound and Megatron and retail. That's it in my area.
Recently, probably within the past month, I've seen Hound, Megatron, and Nitro Zeus, or Decepticon Nitro, whatever you want to call him.
I have not seen that in stores yet. Now, I do have the Voyager Scorn, but I got that online, so I don't think that really counts. What about you, Sergio? Anything up in the Chicagoland area?
No. Tons of Wave 1. I've seen Leader Megatron. I think that's Wave 2 Leader. But I've ordered everything online. I told myself, I always tell myself this, I'm not going to buy the whole line, and I pretty much ended with almost everything. But Wave 2 and up, I did all online. Especially the one with the Cogman wave, because there's rumors that he's not going to come out. So I just went ahead and ordered it online.
But a Cogman was found in Washington State last week.
Yes.
Yeah, I saw.
So, I mean, at this point, who knows? I mean, it's literally the crappiest crapshoot you're ever going to run across.
Yeah, the distribution for the Last Night has been the worst I have ever seen in my time as collecting.
I don't know if it's true, but you know how people state things online and they really don't cite any sources. So take it with a grain of salt. But I've heard that the Last Night toys are some of the worst selling Transformer toys for any of the movie lines. And I find that hard to believe since Age of Extinction was pretty crappy too. And these guys
it all
aren't
has
that
to
bad.
do with the movie. The movie did not do well domestically. I mean,
yeah, but
it made
nowadays,
a ton of money. But
see, that's it though. Nowadays, domestic gross doesn't mean as much as how much is it going to make in China,
or worldwide in general. But
And
I don't necessarily agree with the toy sales thing. Because they've had limited product in the stores. I mean, sure, you have a lot of people.
Well, because nobody's buying them, you know.
Well, a lot of places aren't even stocking them. Some WalMarts here around Indy, they don't have the deluxe classes. Others don't have leaders. I mean, not even a spot for them.
My local Walmart here, they do not carry. They carry deluxes for RID and the movie. And Generations, which is currently Titan Returns. And they carry Voyagers for the movie and Titan Returns. That's it. They don't have any leaders. They don't have any of the basics or Legion class. They don't have any of those things.
It's sad. My local Walmart just got in Six Shot in the past couple of weeks for the first time, and I found Six Shot in March on the way to Jolanta. So I mean, it's just.
Yeah, I've seen. As far as Titan Return, I've had good luck. Everything that I've wanted, I've seen in stores, but I still get it online just so I don't have to do the hassle. But from the local Chicago group I'm in, we have a network of, hey, this is what I found, who wants it? But we've managed to find everything, but I just don't even bother with having to go throughout the whole city just to find one thing. But when it came to the last night, we saw Wave 2 and that's it. Have not seen anything past that.
My local Target, I walked in the other day and there was a strafe on the shelf.
Wow.
I was like, okay, this is new. So I go to the scanner. And then not new, but something new from Wave 2. So I go check the scanner, and there's more in the back. So I asked the gentleman working toys, I'm looking for anything that's not what you already have on the shelf. Pretty much just bring me whatever you have, and I'll buy the ones that I need, because you need some on the shelf anyway, like one or two, but and it's all Wave 1. So apparently someone bought a Wave 2 set and returned the strafe, and now the strafe's gone, which I didn't want another strafe anyway. So it's like that's all I've seen is literally of Wave 2 deluxes is that.
Yeah, that's really sad. I guess the nature of tonight's show will not necessarily lead very well into very good segues, but another question that just popped up earlier, Emmett Stresovich asks, what is the cast's opinion on the viability of the new Fans Toys Terminus Giganticus repaint, the Sentinel? My thoughts, I want it, but I have absolutely nowhere to put it. I'm stressing over where in the world I'm going to put Terminus Giganticus. I really am. I mean, I'm going to have to go through and really cut some more stuff out. So kind of be watching the Facebook group. I'm probably going to be throwing some more stuff up there pretty soon, because I've got to have room, and I just don't have it. I'm really thinking about taking my Titan Returns, keeping the core guys like my Weird Wolf and Mindwipe and Skull Cruncher and stuff, and just letting the rest of it go. I really, I just don't have the room, and I'm not going to pass up Terminus Giganticus. I mean, that's one toy that's like a must-have for me.
Mm-hmm. It's the alpha and omega of your collection currently.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's the omega. I don't know if it's the end. But yeah, it's another one of those landmark toys that, regardless of whether or not it's official or not, I've got to have it. But the Sentinel looks so pretty too, and the thing, and if space were no issue and money were no issue, one would certainly have to buy more than one of the Sentinels.
Well, it's from my area. There was a sort of a folksy saying, if hoppy toads had wings, they wouldn't bust their butts.
Yeah.
So I mean, and believe me, I agree there 100%.
That's deep.
But I love the way it looks. But I mentioned this on RFC last week. DX9 has also shown off their Guardian recolor, which we all figured was going to happen anyway, because there's only so many things you can repaint an Omega Supreme into. And I kind of want to get the DX9 version. Again, DX9 has made super strides over the past couple of years in some really quality products. I want to see how their Omega turns out, and I'm kind of tempted to get their version if the quality's there, because just to differentiate without double dipping on the same mold. That way I get two different flavors of Omega without buying the same color pattern. That said, the Fans Toys, I think, will do good for those collectors who want, like, like something different, something like something like a centerpiece for a collection, but they really don't like the Omega colors, or they'd rather get something else. It's I hope it does well. It's just that's not really something like you said, Darren. You can't really troop build that one.
Yeah, even though I would really, really want to, but it's just not going to happen. Sergio, what's your thoughts on the Sentinel?
I have no attachment to it because I didn't grow up. I don't even know what the original one was. Was it actually in the show?
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, in the episode of War Dawn, where the aerial bots travel back to Cybertron's distant past, and we learn about Orion Pax and Optimus Prime, there were Guardian robots shown in that episode. I think that was the first time we'd seen them. That was your basic, generic peacekeeping robot on Cybertron.
Yeah, they were basically Omega Supreme in the bluish color scheme.
I guess you could call them G1 Auto Troopers. Basically, they were just like the basic grunt police force. I guess is the best.
The way I took it, Omega was supposed to be like their boss or something other. He was like the leader of the Sentinels. Because he essentially was a Sentinel robot that was, I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but I took it that he was the only one that had a
spark.
Yeah.
Because and he was given an actual specific place to guard, being Crystal City, versus being a generic trooper kind of thing. So. That sort of puts him head and shoulders above the other ones as far as rank, which I think is a fair assumption.
I was never sure as far as whether or not the Omega Sentinels were drones or if they did indeed have sparks and were sentient. But one thing I was pretty well understood on was that Omega Supreme himself was at the very least the commander, the one overseeing all of the Omega Sentinels.
Yeah, I took it that the Sentinels were more or less drones than, and Omega's the one that had the spark, even though they had the similar construction.
For Crystal City, at any rate, we don't know about anywhere else on Cybertron.
Yeah. Fox for Naught asked on Twitter yesterday. I don't know if you guys answered this or not, but what are the chances of there being a Titan class Unicron?
I anticipate it about 2019.
No. I think it's going to be probably last year. I think it's probably going to be next year, honestly. I think it'll be the one probably that will come after Predaking. We know we're getting Predaking because they teased the wing at New York Comic Con.
Predaking's going to be next year, though.
Yeah.
Power of the Prime.
But I think
But you've also got Rodimus Unicronus. That's a heck of a name drop not to have a Unicron somewhere in your line.
Mm-hmm. Right. I think that's a tease for later on down.
I mean, look at Titan Returns. We got 2 Titans in it. We got Fort Max
not within
and Trypticon.
One calendar year. That's what I'm thinking. It'll probably still be a Power of the Primes, more than likely, but sync up with Transformers 7 in 2019, because they've teased in the last night about Unicron being the guy Unicron, basically being Earth.
Now, I don't think that they have given up on doing a Titan class Scorponok or Omega. I think they're just put more on the back burner for now.
Yeah. John Warden mentioned that all 3 were going to be made from the vote. Just the vote was who was going to be made first. So I agree with that. They probably are holding out on them for now.
Yeah.
That reminds me, though, recently, and I'm not sure if it was legitimate and confirmed or if it was just somebody just making some kind of mock-up. There was some kind of cease and desist letter floating around recently, said to supposedly be from Hasbro.
That was a fake.
Yeah.
Was it a fake?
Yeah, that is a fake.
Okay.
It would have been much more professionally worded.
If that had that been legitimate, that would have made sense where Hasbro to tease
the cease and desist was not on official Hasbro or Takara letterhead first and foremost, and it was not professionally worded, as Sergio said.
I didn't actually read through it. I just saw it as I was.
It was made to appear to be that way, but it's somebody being a troll.
It would have had a lot more legal jargon in there.
Yeah, a lot more verbose
than just, hey, can you guys please take this down? It kind of looks like our stuff. Thanks.
Yeah. And as we've said before here on the podcast, and this is strictly my personal opinion, but I think that we are so far into third party now that if Hasbro or Takara were to try to legally fight third party, it would be a losing battle because there's just too much out there, and they simply don't have the money to fight them now.
It'd be expensive.
If they were going to quash or squash the third party thing, it should have been done way back whenever that first third party, whenever City Commander came out or something other, they should have hammered them then. They should have stood their ground. But the moment they started letting this happen, it got away way too quick. And I honestly, and this is kind of a sidetrack here, I honestly think that other toy franchises are going to be have this happen to them, the third party thing. We already have seen a little bit of it with Turtles. There's that third party Shredder and third party Krang out there. But I think it's just something that the toy companies, there's going to have to be actual legislature made that can prevent them. I mean, that would only work here in the United States, of course, because if you they can produce anything in China, really.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if they can't stop KOs,
no,
they're not going to stop third party.
I mean, there was KOs back in the 80s and before that, so it's going to happen. It's just more rampant now because people know what they can get away with and what they can't. So, long story short, third parties are here to stay, for better or for worse. Who knows, they may get big enough that it may shut down the official brand. I think that's a bit extreme. But
yeah, they would have to get every single kid who buys Transformers on Earth to switch to $100 third parties.
Well, let's look at the thing though. Collectors make up a huge part of the official market right now. Kids are not sustaining the brand. We are. Let's be honest with that. Kids are a large part of it, and they are the main primary target for Transformers.
Majority.
But keeping us afloat, or what's keeping the brand afloat, is that added collector thing. If it weren't for the collectors, I think the brand would be done, or at least nowhere near as big as it is now. That's my opinion. I mean, I don't have any intrinsic evidence on that, but there's lots of things that indicate that to me.
Well, the movies too.
I can agree to a point, because like you were saying, to the brand specifically, to Transformers specifically, because Hasbro has their feelers out in a whole lot of different fields, from board games to other things, and I think Transformers in particular, interest is kind of waning. But
there's always an ebb and flow with Transformers. Sure. You'll have the heightened of interest, and then it'll dip down, and then it'll go back up, and it's done that since the beginning. Generation 1, it was at a fever pitch, and then Generation 2 kind of fell off, came back up with Beast Wars, kind of fell off with Beast Machines, came back up with RID, kind of fell off with Armada, kind of went up with Cybertron.
Was pretty hot.
Yeah, but not as hot as, say, Beast Wars, in my opinion.
Well, sure.
But anyway, back onto the third party thing. What you see, and I'll use this the Zeta Toys Whirlblade here as an example. third party started out, their main thing was making something that Hasbro and Takara can't or won't. And they tend to make it with better quality or great quality, better things. I mean, you can have sharp edges, tiny parts on third-party items. They don't have to worry about toy laws, or safety laws as much as, say, Hasbro or Takara does.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Well, what was it? Master Shooter. I think the newest releases from Master Shooter, they had to do the 6-shot route with calling it a boat or a submarine.
No, that was a joke. But yeah, but I think it's also important to point out the price point. When third party came out, there was a huge disparity in cost for third party items and cost for official. Now it's starting to become where you can get a leader class third party toy, and I'm holding up Whirlblade here, for roughly the same price as a leader class official toy. And this thing arguably is a lot better in construction, and I don't know about complexity, but I mean it's a lot better in construction than a lot of official toys of this size. No hollowness. I mean, yeah, that's panels, but I mean, honestly, the panels are excusable on this guy because, I mean, look how clean that alt mode is. I mean, you got that, but that's where the combiner port is. But look at that. I mean, it's just beautiful. But I mean, the cost, the overall cost of third-party items is coming down, in my opinion, or at least the value. And it doesn't help that the official product is going up in price. I mean, we just talked about it, a couple weeks ago, how deluxe prices are going to be, $20 suggested retail price coming out with Power of the Primes. So, I mean, think about it. Here's a leader class size third-party toy for roughly $65. And you get a deluxe toy, official, that's got a lot of hollow parts to it. It's very small for $40 less.
Yeah. Well, also, we've talked about this before, but also, like, for example, when you look at, say, Downbeat.
Yeah.
This Downbeat was basically $89.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's assume that the price for Sunstreaker at the 109, 119, 129, that's the range that we're usually seeing for Sunstreaker, includes some recovery costs for getting the license. So let's just assume that. If they did a Jazz, I would have to assume the price would be somewhere in the same price range as far as getting the license from Porsche for this Jazz. So you're still looking at $109 to $130 on average.
Well,
when you can get an actual great looking Jazz, I mean it's not the real Jazz, I understand, but it looks like it. It fits in well with everything else, and you're still spending $10 to $20 to even maybe $30 less. So you're getting masterpiece scaled or designed figures less than what Takara is pricing their stuff at now.
Well,
a recent example, Durham, will be Sunsurge.
Sunstreaker.
Sunstreaker and Sunsurge, yeah. I mean, is getting a real Sunstreaker, is there enough difference between it and, say, Sunsurge to make you buy a Sunstreaker? I mean, is it so important to have the official that, or does it look more like it should to be the better thing for your collection? But you're spending another $100 over something you've already got.
Well, so Sunsurge was what, $100 whenever it came out, 110.
Yeah, 99 to 109 is about what I was seeing it.
Yeah, and then the official Sunstreaker is what, 120? Is that what it was?
I've seen it as low as 109, but that's at like HobbyLink Japan, and your EMS shipping would be another $25 on top of that because EMS shipping went up so much last year across the board.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're saving money on one end, but you're losing it on the other.
Yeah, but you still see the point that we're getting at, though, is that you got the official toy versus the third-party toy, and some instances, Make Toys Hellfire and the official Inferno is a good example too.
Yeah.
The third-party Masterpiece version is cheaper than the official one, and arguably just as nice, if not better, in some ways.
Yeah, that's the one I picked aesthetically over the Takara version because the Takara version did not mentally picture Inferno as this big, boxy, bulky robot. He was too animation accurate, and he looked great, but he wasn't the Inferno that I kind of wanted for my shelf.
Yeah, and here's another example, and I know this isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea, but just finally got this guy in this week. If you're watching the YouTube video, this is Open and Play Big Spring. I got him because I'm like, you know what? He's roughly $60, 60, $65. I'm with my discount at Capture Prey. It brought it under 60 for me. I'm not going to argue that this is actually a masterpiece Springer to me. I mean, he scales well with other masterpieces. In vehicle form, the little Spike that and Daniel, either one of the that come with Ultra Magnus, Masterpiece Magnus, either one of them can actually fit in the cockpit area of Big Spring in car mode and helicopter mode. He just fits. And for the $60 to $65 price range, you can't beat this. And where's the official version at right now? There's nothing on the horizon that we know of right now. So, I go where the money's at. And right now, is Fans Toys Apache going to be a better toy? Most likely. Is Unique Toys Allen probably a better toy? In some ways, probably it is. But for $60 to $65, this thing has the looks and it has the quality and the feel that I would expect out of a Masterpiece toy. Standing him next to MP22 Magnus, it fits right in. Hot Rod, everybody. I mean, he doesn't look out of place on a Masterpiece shelf. I don't think Open to Play's Big Cannon, their Galvatron, is Masterpiece enough, but it still looks good. But if you take things on a figure by figure basis, Big Spring is easily a Masterpiece in my opinion. And that's not a plug. I mean, I bought this guy for my own collection, and he works. He works. Yeah, Shockwave 514 says Big Spring isn't perfect, but man, it is a good figure. It isn't perfect. You're right. It isn't perfect, but he is a really, really good figure.
Yeah. The only thing I'll mention, Duran, is I read some reviews on Big Spring, and I see why a lot of people like it. But also, there are some places out there. If you remember, Allen, that came out originally.
Yeah, Unique Toys.
Yeah, Unique Toys. He has been seen in some places as low as $70, which is about the same price as Big Spring. So there is, that also out there. I have Allen, and I like him and his giant, Clodhopper 2000 big stompy boots. But I like him. He's a solid, hefty figure.
My thing with Big Spring, and if you can see this on the video, is that face sculpt. He looks like he's been stung by a bee, in my opinion, in the face. He's just got the puffy cheeks. It needs to be a little thinner, in my opinion, in the face. Outside of that, I really have no issues with him. I mean, he pegs together well in all three modes. He's not floppy in any way. I mean, Look at that. I mean, I sat there and shake him, hold him sideways. He's very solid. I was glad that when Orson restocked those and they finally came in, I'm like, yeah, I want it. Let's see here. You guys have any other thoughts? And I'll be looking up some other questions here. Also, listeners, keep those questions rolling. We'd love to see them come in.
I have a very, I guess, I don't want to say unique. I don't know what really the word is, but I have a very specific, I guess, is a better word, view on third party. And it has evolved more as of recently because I've been buying third party recently because I was unemployed for about 2-3 months. And I thankfully found another job. And this job has finally allowed me to actually, I can actually afford the official stuff I want as well as the third party stuff I want. So I've been kind of dipping my toes into it slowly because I know that if I go all at once, then I'll financially ruin myself.
Well, and you also have to base your toy buying on how many ones that the guy stuff in your belt at work, right?
Yeah. But my views on third party has changed, and it varies per line. So when it comes to Masterpiece, I stick with Takara, just because so far what they've put out outside of maybe Trax, the original Rodimus, most of the stuff I've really enjoyed. The recent releases, there hasn't been one where I've been like, wow, this toy really sucks. Outside of Trax, everything else has been fine. I really enjoyed Megatron. Megatron's one of my favorite toys of all time. I like the cartoon aesthetics. That's what I like. So I'm fine with sticking with Takara, even if it means I'm going to be waiting a little bit. That's just the way I collect. But when it comes to third party, the third party I buy is just when the official isn't cutting it. So I'm holding this up for example because this is a line that I hope continues, but I hope improves because from what I've seen so far, I've been disappointed. And I'm holding up the Masterpiece movie Optimus for those doing the audio cast, and I see Don shaking his head in agreement. Yep. The movie Masterpiece line, as a fan, I'm not a fan of the movies themselves. I think the movies are bad, but I'm a fan of the movie designs. I really think that some people say, oh, they look like junkyard stuff. Well, have you seen what a car looks like? It's not smooth. I think the movie designs, some of them better than others, but for the most part, I think the movie designs look realistic, and most of the movie designs I really enjoy. So when they announced that they were doing Masterpiece movie stuff, I was very excited because finally we were going to get high-quality Masterpiece-esque movie things. And I was disappointed with both releases. Optimus Prime, he has a handful of problems himself. I have the Takara version. This one has some fixed stuff. I know he tabs in better than the Hasbro one. I've heard that there's a newer batch of the Hasbro one that tabs a little bit better, but I can't confirm outside of rumors. The truck mode compared to the Revenge of the Fallen mode is not as good. I understand that with making a more accurate robot mode, you do have to sacrifice the vehicle mode, and I'd much rather have them sacrifice the vehicle mode than the robot mode, since I display my stuff in robot mode. But they advertise this in Bumblebee as a masterpiece. And when I think of masterpiece, it has to be, I don't want to say 100 spot on, but as close as possible. And Bumblebee, not only is he the wrong model Camaro, he's the wrong color. He's a very canary yellow when the movie Bumblebee is kind of a more sunrise yellow, an orangey yellow. And Optimus, his blue is very, very light. The Hasbro one is missing several paint apps, and he even uses like a dark, I don't even know if it's gray or brown plastic, but it's a very dark plastic in the robot mode that just looks very unappealing. Recently, a ton of third-party companies like Unique Toys, they're killing it. The Peruka looks amazing.
I have got to get my hands on one of those.
The new Optimus that they showed is, I don't know how they made that thing transform. Like, until I see it in person, to me, I think they just like use some like magic. Like they might have sacrificed a goat or two to get that thing to transform. It's insane.
Sir,
yeah.
You mentioned with the Bumblebee that it was the wrong model year.
Yeah. So they actually used the production model of, I want to say like the 2008 or the 2009 Camaro.
The Revenge of the Fallen year.
Yes. But you can tell by the grille and the side mirrors are different. But they did not use the concept Camaro model that they did use in the first movie. And plus the color is wrong. Like I said, it's a very bright yellow that he never was in the movie. And all the other Bumblebees that they released in the line, like all the deluxes and, the Human Alliance. The Human Alliance, in my opinion, is the perfect color. I don't know why they didn't just use the color palette from the Human Alliance. And I've heard some people argue that, maybe Chevy, didn't approve it or something, or they requested changes. But I highly doubt that because, Chevy's making money hand over fist when it came to the Bumblebee stuff. I'm pretty sure the Camaros are selling really well because of the movie. How many Transformers fans do you know that have one? I know a ton, a good handful of fans.
Little side note here. I actually deliver to a Ford factory here in Louisville. And I can say with 100% certainty that there is a Ford employee that drives a Bumblebee Edition Chevy Camaro. I see him coming to work just about every day. It's like I just chuckle at it because it's got the little the Autobot, the chrome Autobot insignias on the side, and he's got a Autobot insignia decal in the back window. So yeah, it's just that little funny thing, It's like a Ford employee driving a Chevy Camaro to work at Ford.
Get some kind of gotta make up some kind of like TFYLP flyer and put it under his wiper blade.
Well, I don't have access to the parking lot, but go ahead.
I'm just really let down with the movie masterpiece lines. Barricade, the renders we've seen from Barricade or the leaks we've seen so far look good, so I'm hoping he looks better. But kind of to move this along, I kind of digressed a bit. Like I mentioned, the Unique Toys is making some amazing movie stuff that I don't think we're going to get officially. Who's that company? I think it's a brand new company, TF Evo's joined the Last Night Hot Rod. And he also transforms. With the robot mode, looks spot on to the CGI model. And it's like, I don't think we're ever going to see movie toys of that caliber in official form. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before when I said Hasbro's never going to do that, and they've proven me wrong, and I hope they do again.
Well, I mean,
but
I
until then,
I think third party.
Third parties.
I think third party makes Hasbro and Takara step up. I know that there's.
Oh yeah.
To say that they don't pay attention to Hasbro to the third party releases, I think is utter BS. I think they do, because if they don't, then they're going to fall way, way behind on a lot of the things. And Peru Kill, the look on that. Now, me personally, I think there's a lot of cheats involved with it, but let's be honest.
Yeah.
The Bayformer aesthetic, you have to cheat.
Oh yeah.
I think what Peru Kill does is basically the car mode folds in on itself. From what I can tell, it looks like it basically might as well be a popple, in a lot of ways. The robot detail and everything is just all reversed in car mode. If that makes any sense.
I think I can see, because when you look at it, you can see a lot of hinges all over the robot mode. But yeah, and another good example is I'm starting to get it. I want to start getting into the Planet X guys, so all the Fall of Cybertron stuff. We never got real. I mean, we got a handful from Hasbro, but we never got all the Dinobots. And even the Grimlock they released was all right, but it wasn't as good as the Planet X version. And I can justify buying all of them because do you really think that Hasbro in maybe 10, 20 years or even 5 years is going to go back to one specific game for one specific year? It's my money goes to third parties when I think that the official is never going to fill that hole. Well, and especially in recent years, we've gotten a lot of stuff in third party where, I don't want to say I was ever a third party hater, but I used to say, it's just not for me. And now, more often than not, I'm disappointed in the official hand, and I'm going to end up spending my money where I think is the better product.
Well, for me, one thing to consider is that look at this Optimus. That is a $100 toy with issues that in its entirety should not exist on a $100 toy. Like you were saying, not perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect except for, Robots in Disguise Optimus Prime. But a movie Optimus should not have that many assembly flaws at that price point. Look at Trypticon. Off the line. Legs snapping off. Figures that we're paying $100 to $150 for should not be having these QC issues. I mean, I know it's going to happen, but it seems like it's been happening with a lot more frequency on these more expensive toys, where you think that the QC would be a lot more monitored before, like, an entire first run batch with leg snapping action, for Trypticon. And it's something I think that's what people are looking at, is the third parties are showing they can have overall better quality control in some cases. And I think that's also a factor as well.
You're muted, Sergio.
Am I?
Sorry. Like I said, nothing, like you said, nothing is perfect. I've seen official toys have tons of QC problems. I've seen third-party toys have tons of QC issues. But I think Trypticon is a very good example of that was a PR disaster, because it's a large price point, $150 for a toy that is marketed both to collectors and to non-collectors. A $150 toy that's going to take up retail shelf space should be a quality product, because it's already hard enough to convince a store to, give up that shelf space for that toy. You have to convince, Don, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can back me up on this, but whenever a store wants to stock a product, you got to make sure that's going to sell.
Right, yeah, because I'm saying they for that one Trypticon, they could put 4 Star Wars vehicles, or they could put more Voltron stuff, or they could put more My Little Pony, or whatever the case may be. So you got to convince them that this toy is worth eating up this much square footage because it'll sell.
Yeah,
and when you have legs snapping off,
and it's not as easy as a third party where it's marketed strictly to collectors, to where, hey, we messed up, we designed a problem wrong, or we designed this poorly, here's a replacement part, or here's an upgrade part to prevent it from breaking. When it's something
they
like
basically,
like Hasbro.
Third parties do something basically Hasbro and Takara can't do, is offer alternate or fixed pieces with a future release, or free of charge. I know Orson has got a tackle box at his warehouse of stuff that Fans Toys sends him, that's got like kickback wings and for Forager and stuff. So if you need like a wing to replace on Fans Toys Forager that snapped on you, he's got spares. It's third parties just do something like that. Hasbro and Takara, do you think they're going to provide replacement parts for these toys? At no point in history have they ever offered anything like that. It would be nice. Huh?
Not for Transformers, though. Like Monopoly pieces and stuff like that, sure.
Well, we're talking Transformers. This is a Transformer podcast. But I mean, at no point in the history of Transformers toys, official toys, have we seen, we did something bad here, here's a fix. Free of charge. We're including it with X toy,
Yeah. And especially, I'm actually in school for, marketing and PR and stuff like that. And so this is some of the stuff that we discuss. With such a large corporation like Hasbro, where let's say they ship out, I have no idea if this is true, but it's just a rough shoot, 10 to 20,000 Trypticons. And let's say 10,000 of them were the affected ones. To set up a program to replace 10,000 of them for free would be extremely costly. And it would be bad on them PR-wise because they would have to issue an apology. They would have to contact retailers to say, hey, these are messed up. You're going to have to send them back if they're unsold. And the people who did bought them, they're going to have to find a way to make sure that they find out that there's a way to replace it or fix it so that they don't go back to the stores and try to return it and stuff. And it would just be a disaster. Whereas with third parties where it's such a niche market, where let's say they come and say, hey, if you need a replacement part, get it here. It's much more different with a large corporation compared to...
I think the only big box store, if you could call it, would be like Toys R Us and toy stores of that nature are about the only brick and mortar stores that actually are carrying Trypticon. You're not going to see it at Walmart or Target or anything like that. But Trypticon is mainly an online exclusive. You could almost call it that because of the limited distribution, and any of the Titan figures for that matter. I was lucky with my Trypticon. I mean, it's got a few little minor issues, but nothing that it's like, oh my god, I wish I'd never bought this toy. Bad.
Yeah, mine has kind of like a loose-ish leg, but it doesn't really affect much because the tail is just so heavy. If I tried to pose it in any other way than just standing up, he would kind of rock back and forth. Yeah, and I mean he's not that posable.
Water in front of him.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to another question. Which toy, and this is another one from Carrie, which toy, third party or official, would you love to see made in masterpiece form? Anyone from Animated or Prime? Any of you guys have any thoughts on that? Dawn.
Oh, sorry.
Robots in Disguise, Optimus Prime.
Why did I know? How did I know that you were going to say that? Just something said Godfire Convoy.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, God, I would love to get Godfire, but I think I would just not push my luck and get Robots in Disguise. Second runner-up, if I can do a second runner-up, I would love to see an animated Omega. I'm sorry. It's a great take on the character, and it really would be, I mean, you could do it so it was still animated Omega, but maybe not quite too much animated Omega, if that makes any sense, Could be, they've got a very unique design aesthetic for animated. Sure. But I think you could kind of maybe tone it back just a hair, just a little bit, so it's a little more neutral. That would fit in more, because so many people are like, well, it has to fit on this shelf or that shelf. I've never understood it. If you like it, set it off by the side and go, ooh, it doesn't have to fit on the shelf for me. You can have a shelf where nothing fits. We talked about this before. Your whole theme of the shelf could be there's no theme to this shelf, and it fits.
That's this shelf right here.
Yeah. So I mean, but I would love to see an animated Omega, just for all the animated fans. Hey, Paladin. So, and again, it would be a really interesting take on the character. But but Optimus Prime first.
Yeah. What about you, Jim?
I got to echo Don's sentiment on the animated Omega, although I think maybe the RID 2.0 aesthetic might serve best as a balance between an animated feel and a Generations feel.
That's
kind of a midpoint.
That's not a bad idea, and I'm agreeing with Jim. Okay, waiting for the meteor. What?
Right. But I think that would be a good way to balance the two design aesthetics, and still do right by each one, respectively. But I actually just thought that for the longest time, like if we ever got an Omega, from Animated, how would it be implemented? Would it be the sort of thing where it could assemble similar to the G1 base, but then reassemble into some kind of thing resembling the Arc at the same time, like a parts former, or how exactly that would be implemented? But I think that would be a good first figure to go for, whether it be official or third party. And for my number 2, I've got to say, just out of left field, Revenge of the Fallen Demolisher. Because like Sergio was saying earlier about the overall designs of the movie figures, just writing and plot points aside, the designs are stellar. And Revenge of the Fallen had some of the most outside the box designs that broke away from the norm more than I've seen really anywhere else. I mean, you got Demolisher, who's basically an angry face with wheels and arms. You've got Rampage, it's a pogo stick of death. I mean, even the twins. The twins were some amazing designs. I loved those, and I would have loved to have gotten the smart car. Had they done the smart car
many years ago, compared to Jetstorm and Jetfire.
What about you, Sergio? Who would you like to see get official or third-party MP treatment?
Well, I'm going to get the obvious out of the way. Animated Omega. I think across the board, everybody wants to see that happen, one way or another. As far as outside of that, I have two that I really want to see, and they're both movie. One would be Grimlock from Age of Extinction. I always thought that his design was awesome. I liked the spikes and how big he is. I think he just looks like a very powerful robot. And
something tells me Unique Toys is going to tackle those guys.
I hope so. If they're listening, I hope he's next after Optimus. I hope he's next. But movie one, Blackout. I really like the design of the.
A lot of people are saying that Whirlblade here should have a remolded head for Blackout because look at this helicopter mode.
Very first one you see. So he's the one that I always think when you think of the movies, the thing that sticks in my head the most was the very first scene back in 2007 when you hear the and then he just all hell breaks loose. I just really liked his design too. So those would be my three that if we're gonna see third party or official, I'd buy it.
Yeah, mine is probably going to take a lot of people by surprise, and also. It's not going to be as much thunder as, say, Godfire Convoy or even animated Omega. And I really don't see them getting the official masterpiece treatment. If they ever did, it would probably be like 30 years from now. At which point, anybody who even knew who these characters were would be dead and gone. But I'd like to see a third party tackle the Duocons, Flywheels and Battletrap, and do them properly.
I agree. They don't get enough love.
I agree. And I think I'm going to add a third option to mine because I'm going to do that anyway. I would like to see a third part. Well, actually, I'm going to add two because I'm going to feel like I'm going to do it. 3, I would like to see third party Omnibots or Car Robot Brothers. Because I think at the masterpiece level, the extra mass would help the Car Robot Brothers transformation. And I think the Omnibots are really overdue for a look.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would also like to see, at some point, one of these Omegas, whatever Omega we get, DX9, fans, toys, from whatever may happen, is we get Omega Spreem. Now, just for something different.
Another one that I would like to see I don't even care if it's a masterpiece incarnation. I'd like to see a third party or even an official homage or a re-release of Rail Racer from RID. To me, Rail Racer was one of the landmark game changer combiners, in my opinion. It showed that you could take 3 figures and make it what a third party could do with those guys, or even if we got like a redo in a couple years, they move beyond G1 characters again and start doing. Don laughs at that, but they start doing later characters. Like we got some Beast Wars characters redid. We got Rhinox and Rat Trap, and we got Armada Starscream. and Skybite. So why not Rail Racer? Or, maybe even a better shot at Build King or Landfill.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the technology that we have today, both of those guys could be really, really awesome.
We have the technology.
Yeah. We can rebuild him. We can make him. Da 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 da.
Family Guy.
Another question here. This is from Twitter. Night Swords asked it several hours ago. For those that hang, and see if any of you guys do.
I've got 2, and it's Green Lantern 50, the glow in dark cover, and Thunderstrike issue number 1. And it's a very difficult way of getting them hung. You put them in a bag, you put a backer in there, you grab a thumbtack, and you hang them on the wall, and you're done.
If I were to do it, I would probably get a nice frame and put them in it. Since obviously if you're hanging them on the wall, you're not going to read them that often. So I'd just make it look really good. I've got one right now. I've got a pen and ink done by Jake Eisenberg. It's Weird Wolf and Wonder Woman. And it's on one of those frames. I got it at Walmart. And it's just a black frame. But the piece of artwork actually just floats between 2 pieces of glass. So it looks like it's just floating inside the frame. And I love the way that looks. I would probably do a comic in something like that.
Comics, because that could also be an issue.
Mm-hmm.
Like some frames have cardboard backing, and if your comic is too thick, it may pop that out, and you can end up with some shattered glass.
Oh God!
Well,
Now I do.
That's the last thing you want, with anything. Most especially,
I totally didn't expect a fun publications reference out of this.
That wasn't intentional. I realized that after I said it.
Yeah.
But now you can see behind me. I've shown this off before. The frame you see there, those I did have those not professionally framed because that would have been too expensive. But I did take them to a frame shop and have them help me pick out the backers and all that kind of stuff. For with the low acid, no acid kind of backers and stuff. That's the line art that Dan Kana did for the 88 Mile an Hour book a couple years ago for Fortress Maximus, that they only wound up using that one picture of Fortress Maximus in the book. I bought all the line art he did at that BotCon, and I do have that framed. So, but that's like a one-of-a-kind thing.
Don, that large picture you have in the center, is that Fire Convoy?
The
large picture you have in the center of all of them on your wall?
No, that's Super Fire Dagwan. That's from the that's a poster from inside of a TV magazine from Japan when Dagwan was airing.
And Don, this is just the OCD in me, but the center row of pictures, the line art that you have hanging behind you, they are crooked as F on there.
Well, it's just I can't quite get them lined up, and over the years I just sort of gave up, and it's like they're there, they're hanging, they're not falling down.
The OCD in me is seeing that second picture, and it needs to go up maybe a half an inch and center it by about.
I hung all of those by sight because I did not have a level.
Okay,
so
two things.
Okay, by saying that, you make me think of the scene from Spaceballs where a guy turns around and his eyes are crossed. He says, "I'm sorry, sir. I'm doing my best." Yeah.
that was I think it was Philip Asshole was his name.
Yes.
You
know him well, don't you?
Two things. First, the wall of pictures and frames is much like the shelf that there's no theme to it. And two, it's CDO. It's like OCD, but it's in proper order like it's supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you, Jim, for that completely confusing statement.
Yeah.
You'll figure
and now the weather.
And now on to Sergio's idea for hanging comics.
Don't.
No,
I used a frame. And now, I took it off because now I use the frame for my signed autograph photo of Cody Rhodes, or just Cody. but
you can't use Rose.
Or of Cody censored.
Hey, Sergio, I'm holding up the Too Sweet. Wait a minute, no, there's a hand in front of it. You can't see it.
It's censored.
Yeah.
You do the ones. You could do the one sweet. They were actually doing that at the show I went 2 weeks ago. You had to do the one sweet. But anyways, frame. I like the frame. It looks really nice.
Yeah. Another question here on Twitter. Let's see here. How much would it cost to get a Beast Machine Supreme Cheetor for Headmaster Dawn? And somebody actually answered it. $65 on Amazon, which is, but you need the address. We happen to have Dawn's address, and he would just love to have another Supreme Class Cheetor to replace the one that's
it will cost the equivalent price of your hospital stay. Do not, under any circumstances, send me a Supreme Cheetor. Send me the cash equivalent to a Supreme Cheetor. That's fine. But do not send me that POS at all, or I will hunt you down. I have a Massey. I am not afraid to use him.
Yeah, that question came courtesy of Blade Raider on Twitter. So,
yes, thank you, Blade. Remember, I know where you live, too.
What about Night Scream, then?
Okay. They would need to see a proctologist for that. If you don't know what that is, you need to look it up. That will answer your question.
It's relevant because Night Scream's hair, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I'm thinking, wondering what if we were to get some kind of masterpiece Beast Machines?
There's some.
I would save so much money. I would save thousands of dollars.
No, there's some characters in Beast Machines that are worthy of masterpiece.
There's a couple.
Jetstorm.
In particular I'm thinking of would be the drone generals, as well as the mega head that would actually convert into the battleship.
Maybe Tank War? Maybe the drone Tank War? Maybe they could pull off a Savage Noble that didn't suck? Maybe?
I'd like to see a Jetstorm.
Yeah. As long as whatever they did came with a little diagnostic drone. That would be kind of cool. Just throw the diagnostic drone in there with a little stand you can pose them on.
Ooh. Or just go a step further and make the diagnostic drone become a headmaster for the Jetstorm.
Yeah. But now the Blast Punch Primal was one of my favorite Beast Machine toys. There wasn't many, but the Blast Punch Primal I would like to see them take a new crack at that, even if they had to kind of scale down the gimmick. But that would be about the only one. Maybe Night Viper, because that's such an interesting design. I would like to see that done. The Cobra Snake, that would be really interesting.
Hammer Strike.
I'm thinking more. I would like to see Battle Unicorn redone, because that was really interesting.
Sergio was like, "This is my WTF face."
I mean, Battle Unicorn is it's a nice looking figure, but it's very oddly designed. And the transformation is kind of wonky. So
basically, it's the Jim Black of Transformers.
No, don't insult Battle Unicorn like that. Besides, do you want to buy a case of Jim Black from BBTS? No one does.
Oh Lord! Another question on Twitter. This was actually not long after I originally tweeted the question. Dual mirrored grid network. Or Gridwork, I'm sorry. DMG 1001 asks how to get a hold of the TFYLP cast other than Facebook. Well, there's a few ways. You can contact us as you did here on Twitter at TFYLP. Of course, Facebook. I'm on TFW Weird Wolf. If you're on TFW 2005, you can send me a private message on there. Although I will let you know, I haven't been on TFW in about 2.5-3 weeks. because of this move and everything. So, Lord, I may have messages on there galore because, I basically abandoned a sale list on there. And I apologize if anybody has actually sent me a message on there or anything, because I just have not had time to get back. I haven't even set up my light box. My light box is folded up over here, and I haven't taken pictures in a long time, and I'm itching for it. But yeah, Twitter is the best way to get a hold of me directly. You can tweet me at TFYLP or send me a direct message on there. It will go to my phone, and I can answer it rather quickly as soon as I see it. What about you guys? What's the best way to get a hold of you guys other than Facebook?
Other than Facebook?
And don't give out your phone number on here. I'll slap you.
Please call me.
Really, Facebook is the best way because I always have my phone on me and Messenger at the ready, so I'll get a notification anytime. Just not at nighttime, people, please. Like to sleep.
Like some dumbasses that work third shift that actually send out messages at like 2:00 in the morning.
Bing.
Yeah, that happens.
That's me. Yeah.
Alternatively, I am on Twitter as the Creo Wiki. It's Creo. It's Carry-O. No under. There's an underscore. Wiki. That is me. And also TFW 2005, which I admittedly haven't even logged into my account in probably 2 or possibly 3 years. So you might get a response sometime in 2027 from that. But overall, Facebook is the optimum way to get a hold of me. Or post a question here while we're on the air. It's also what's on your mind.
Yeah,
we're here now.
Jim, shave. What about you, Don?
Well, I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR. You can also reach me on Facebook, as we talked about earlier. You can also reach me through the Radio Free Cybertron contact page at tfradio.net/net. We have a contact form there. You can also call and leave a voicemail if you have a question for the RFC crew at 1-800-99-GO-BOTS. So you can get me through there. But Twitter is probably the best thing to do. Just throw an @ up there with me, and I'll see it at some point.
Yeah. Now, if all these links, especially to Twitter pages and or Twitter profiles and everything, they're on our TFYLP .com webpage. Just go to the About Us section. There's current and past cast members of TFYLP that are on there, and the way to contact them. I know not a lot of people actually know about that, but that is on there.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That is on there. I try to keep it updated as much as possible. However, there's some of it may come and go. I want to say that I did have an email address set up for us, but whenever I moved the website and everything, apparently the Akismet or something that I had set up did not work right, and it got slammed with Russian spam. Yeah, I went to log into it. I had not logged into it in about 2 months. Whenever I first signed up for the web space, after I got everything moved over, so I finally got it set back up and logged into it, and I had like 2,000 some odd emails, and they were like Russian spam, and I'm like. And not on one of the emails was relevant to TFYLP, and I'm like, you know what, just chuck it. So I don't even check it anymore, even though I think it's still on the website. But just don't use that. I'm done having to fight spam filters and these Russian spam. Excuse me. They try to spam the website constantly, but fortunately the Akismet is taking care of most of that. You You can try to comment on something on the website. I don't know if that's the best way to get a hold of it. I'll see it eventually, but the quickest way to get a hold is via Twitter. What about you, Sergio?
I don't really post much Transformers stuff on my Twitter. It's mostly personal because I use it for class. We have to tweet out our projects to a professor. But if you want to add me, follow me on Twitter or message me on Twitter, it's at SGARCI49. You can also find me at Instagram. Again, it's more personal than toy stuff, but it's at Garcia96.
And he froze.
The two is that I use the most, other than Facebook.
Yeah, you froze up on us there, Sergio.
Repeat your Instagram.
Yeah, your Instagram.
Oh, my Instagram is at Garcia9631, and the numbers are spelled out. So 9631 spelled out. And like I said, it's a little bit more personal than Transformer stuff, but I'll post up Transformer stuff every now and then.
The words 9, 6, 3, and 1.
Yeah, they're actually spelled out.
Okay.
Yeah. And I forgot because Jim said it and I forgot to add it. I can be reached on if you want to reach me at HMRC4EVR. That's my handle over at T-Formers and over at Toku Nation for anything that might be Sentai related
or hentai related, whichever comes first.
That too.
Oh wow!
No,
Senpai has noticed me.
Art.
Senpai has noticed me. RFC just followed me on Twitter.
Oh my gosh! Oh my god!
I'm special.
Before we wrap up, I want to give a brief programming note. Next Saturday, we will not have a live episode of TFYLP. I don't think we will have time to pre-record between now and then, so there's a chance that we won't have an episode next Saturday night. However, if you are going to be in the Indianapolis area on November 4th, which is next Saturday, a week from today, there is the Midwest Transformers Collectors Meetup that we are having at the Toy Drop in Indianapolis, Indiana. Let me pull it up here.
It's on South Madison, but I don't recall the actual address.
I'm actually pulling that up right now. It's at 6025 Madison Avenue, Suite E in Indianapolis, Indiana, 46227. You can follow the Toy Drop on Facebook, and they also have a website. You can check them out there. But we are having a get-together. It's the Midwest Transformers Collectors Meetup, but it's open to everybody that you want. If you're able to come, we'd be happy to have you. Probably have some snacks on hand. There'll be some toys for sale and trade, I'm sure. I know Orson's going to bring a few things. I'm probably going to bring a few things to sell or trade. So who knows? I mean, if somebody might be looking for something other, and you can be there. We're also using this as an opportunity to remember our fallen hero, Chad Williams, who was a former member of the TFYLP podcast, who sadly passed away of cancer on Halloween last year. So we're quickly approaching the 1-year anniversary of his loss, and so November 4th at the Midwest Transformers Collectors Meetup, we are going to remember Chad Williams in what we do there. I'm also going to take some of the Slagacon exclusives that I have in my possession, and they will be on display there. I have a Vector Zeta, which was actually Chad's actual copy that he owned. I have the Breakneck from 2011, and I also have the prototype of the little Creo Omega Supreme that he made. I will also have that. I believe Brett is sending along some exclusives that he has, and a couple other people are bringing some stuff. So you'll be able to actually see some of the original Slagacon exclusives at this Midwest Transformers Collectors Meetup. Sure to be a good time. We're going to have, talking Transformers. We're going to be selling, trading, probably playing card games. We might throw in some Cards Against Humanity or something other, and just have a good time at this meetup. It's November 4th from 1 p.m. till 6 p.m. roughly.
Or whenever.
Yeah. Right here. Now, this is Facebook saying this. It's saying it's going to be somewhere between 54 to 57 degrees and calling for rain showers. Now, that's a week away. May or may not happen. But the address, again, is 6025 Madison Avenue, Suite E, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46227 at the Toy Drop. Again, you can find them on Facebook. If you plan on attending this event, if you're a part of the Midwest Transformers Collectors Meetup or Transformers group on Facebook or the Kentucky Transformers Facebook group, I'm probably going to try to create this event on the TFYLP group. Let us know. Click that you're going on there. Let us know that you're going. That way we can expect to see you there. Or know to expect to see you there. As many people as we can. We'd love to see you. So I will be there. That's why there won't be a broadcast next week, at least live. I'm pretty sure Jim will be there since it's literally
absolutely
right down the street from him.
About 4.5 miles is crow flies.
Roughly.
I do want to say though, to anyone that's not familiar with that part of Indianapolis or Indianapolis in general, when you are down that way, a good landmark is that there's a Kroger's just across the street to the north of it, and it's this little plaza, and that you'll see there's like a South Side Reporter newspaper and a Subway restaurant, just all in this plaza. It's Toy Drop is like right dead center in the middle.
There's plenty of parking at this place. I remember it well. So. And everything. Sergio, if I'm not mistaken, Indianapolis is only a couple-hour drive for you. So, I mean, it's roughly the same as me and Orson coming up there from Louisville.
That's right.
So,
it's 4 hours for me, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, it's 4 hours.
Oh.
I mean, it's not ridiculously far.
Well,
it's about 3 hours if I put the pedal to the metal. But, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
But you guys do them what? Every other month, or is it every couple months?
We have a monthly one here in Louisville, but this coming month in November, we're actually doing it combined up in Indianapolis with the General Midwest Collectors Meetup. I know there's going to be some people coming from Western Tennessee. There's going to be people coming from Western Kentucky, Illinois, Indiana. Probably even Ohio. So, if you're in the general area, it might be worth it to come just hang out with fellow Transformer fans and collectors.
Absolutely. It's going to be worth it.
Absolutely. I know there's several people.
You're going to have all of us there, all kinds of other collectors, with most of them with things to buy, sell, and trade. Plus, the Toy Drop has an amazing inventory of all kinds of lines. And then attached to them is it's a block party. So you've got a whole side store of nothing but Lego, so there's always going to be something to keep your interest. I'm sure. I know
somebody here. It was at the Toy Drop. We had a meetup there. Chad was actually still alive. It was the last time that we were there. I know someone that actually picked up a Target Master Cyclonus complete for $100.
Yep.
So yeah, that's a pretty darn good price for a Target Master Cyclonus.
They get pretty good deals like that every now and again.
Yeah. So, if you plan on being there, we'd love to see you guys. If you can't make it, we understand. I mean, it's nothing that I would say, hey, book a flight and come in if you're planning on. It's nothing like that.
Do it.
No, I mean, but it's at most, it's just a group of fans and collectors. We get together. We can talk. We can buy, sell, trade, cuss at each other, flip each other off. Like I say, general debauchery and play Cards Against Humanity. And we're also tell of our memories of Chad. It's going to be really, really awesome. Let's see, Matt Brill just joined the stream, and I'm from Indianapolis. What was the date of the toy drop event again? The date is November 4th, tentatively from 1 to 6 p.m., but I'm sure we'll probably be there a little bit earlier, and, however late we can legally stay there without them closing and saying, hey, get out. Yes, it's this coming Saturday, November 4th, a week from today. Again, at the Toy Drop, 6025 Madison Avenue, Suite E, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46227. Again, I'll be there. Jim Black will be there. Maybe Sergio will be there. I know Capture Prey will be there. We're gonna have a good time. And again, I'm going to be bringing some Slagacon exclusives. Jim, if you have anything Slagacon related,
I've only got a few things, but I'll do what I can.
If you got posters, I see you got a poster back there. Bring it.
That is the T12 lithograph. I just threw it in the frame.
Mm-hmm. Just bring that. Just something to show off and remember Chad, our fallen hero. I miss him dearly every day, and you're somewhere listening to us, Chad, and we haven't forgot about you, man. Never will. I think that'll do it for this week's episode of TFYLP. You guys have any closing thoughts?
I guess really the only thing I'm going to bring, this is sort of like listener question for me, is going into the holiday season. I'm sure we're going to have an actual holiday-themed episode as far as like we do every year about shopping and the holidays and everything else. But going ahead, and I think with distribution being as bad as this year as it is across the board for so many lines, in your news groups, in your fan groups, whatever the case may be, everyone start going ahead and helping everybody find the stuff they need for the holidays, for themselves or for family members. Because, again, there's going to be a lot of product moving through the stores, and maybe that'll finally clear some of the backlog of the stuff that's been clogging the shelves forever. So maybe some new product. So maybe some new product will start getting out that's been sitting in warehouses and storerooms for God knows how many months. So just start making sure you can start helping out your fellow collectors on finding this stuff. So if nothing else, everybody can find them and not have to pay through the nose through secondary markets. So just just start helping out early if you can, because how none of us want to have to go start hitting our Rosses, Marshalls, and TJ Maxxes for this stuff on down the road.
Yeah. What about you, Jim?
My closing thought. While we were on the air here tonight, I have discovered that the weapons for Titan Return Hot Rod and Cup combine, and it totally looks like a G1 Target Master gun.
Oh,
right.
That's kind of neat.
It just slots on top. It's not a secure fit, but it's good enough. It stays.
Or you could just buy one of the Takara versions and have a Target Master already with it, or you could just get a
Cup.
Poor millennial.
Yeah, or you could just get a Master Shooter and put it with that.
Oh, submarine. Yes.
Yeah. Sergio, you have any closing thoughts?
No, I've got pretty much everything I got. I like this episode a lot. It's nice to interact. It's always fun.
Yeah, we do this from time to time, and it's been a while since we've had a listener episode, and they're always fun to have. And it's great filler for when we really can't think of anything to talk about. And I know you mentioned it in the private group. Hey, let's have a listener question day, and it's like perfect timing. And lots of stuff. I know there was a lot of third party reveals over the weekend at SGC in Singapore, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that for weeks to come. Lots of great stuff there. Surprisingly, Fans Toys didn't show a lot of stuff off. However, I'm sure they've got quite a bit of stuff still on their plate, things that haven't been released. I know Fans Hobby showing off Power Baser and their Red Dragon, and every time I see Red Dragon, I think of Bobby Fish and
well, that Red Dragon, I think it was a was it a TF Source exclusive?
No, it's a SGC exclusive right now.
No, I meant the the product that was available outside the show. I wasn't sure if that was just what they had been able to pick up.
Don't
or
know.
If they, yeah,
I don't know. It's possible.
It was. I think the price was about $229 on that figure, which is about $100 more than the regular version.
Yeah, I want it, but I don't want it that bad.
Yeah, it's if I wasn't lucky enough to get BotCon Megatron at 2016, I probably would be pursuing this with a lot more vigor than I am. But again, it's just hopefully everyone that can get one can get one. It's just I really wanted that to be a TFCon exclusive. Yeah.
I think that'll. That's coming up on my Facebook here. Yeah, Sergio's gotta go.
You gotta go.
But I want to thank everybody for joining us this week, and thank everybody in the live chat on Twitter, everybody that contributed to the questions on this episode. Really, really awesome. And thank you for each and every one of your questions. Again, follow us on Twitter at TFYLP. Support us on our Patreon page at patreon.com/TFYLP. Thank you to everybody that continues to do so each and every month. Without your help, we couldn't continue doing this. And thanks each and every one of you guys, Don, Jim, Sergio. Glad you have you on tonight. Until week after next, hope to see you at the Midwest Transformers meetup next Saturday, November 4th at the Toy Drop in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'll be there. Jim will be there. Hopefully Sergio, a bunch of other people. And then we will see you next week after that here on TFYLP. Good night, everyone.
Good night.